on this story, we can bring in our foreign affairs commentator,
hi,
Douglas Herbert. Doug, good to see you. This meeting comes at a critical time for Ukraine because Donald Trump, as I said, his efforts face setbacks, and we see this growing threat from Russia here in Europe.
Yeah. So eternal peace, quote Donald Trump's words, may be at hand in the Mideast, but this Russia's war of aggression rages on in Ukraine. And look, let's be honest, in the past, week or so, the world's headlines have been sort of hard focused, justifiably, you can say, on the dramatic events in the Mideast in this first phase of the ceasefire, the hostage swap, the prisoner releases. So the defense ministers, this is basically a big reminder, right? The takeaway from today is the Ukraine war is not only at a critical juncture, but it is right now, it is raging perhaps more than ever with some of the most critical moments of this war ahead. What we're seeing at this moment, the context for this meeting, these are defense ministers for the alliance all meeting in Brussels. And it's more than just an update. It is, as you said, coming at a time where more and more European countries perceive a real and growing present Russian threat, a threat from both the drone incursions, but also violations of their airspace, as we've seen. Now, Russia obviously vehemently denies any such meddling, any such interference in airspace or sending of drones, all of that. But the fact is, European countries say here and now, this is what we're facing. Our continent, not just Ukraine, faces a growing security threat. So there's that issue. But more broadly is Western support to Ukraine, military support, has been declining. It has been dramatically declining in the past few months, despite the agreement brokered between NATO and the U.S. earlier this year, under which U.S. would sell weapons to Europe, which in turn would then supply arms and ammunition and equipment to Ukraine. Despite that deal, we are seeing a dramatic decline in Western support. The questions, and these are immediate questions of draconian importance for NATO, for Europe as a whole, how do they keep the support? How do they bring that support back up to levels? How do they, and this is the crucial thing, continue to send a message to Putin because they believe this is the only thing that could end the war? Western support isn't just declining, it is right now growing. And the data suggests it isn't. So that is why this is a crucial meeting. They have to shore up, they have to drum up more Western military support now, today, for Ukraine, while also brainstorming ways here and now, not tomorrow, for their own defense on their eastern flank especially, against these drone incursions, against these airspace violations, which we're seeing increasingly frequently from Russia.
Now, one of the things on the table for the United States, at least for the U.S. president, is this long-range Tomahawk missiles, whether the Washington should supply that to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Could that be a game changer?
Well, listen, it could be. It could be. First of all, let me just go back to the fact that when I said that Western military support, European support is declining, a new report from the Kiel Institute, it tracks Ukrainian support, Western support for Ukraine. For July and August, 43% drop in the value and the number of weapons supplied to Ukraine compared to the first 6 months of the year, the first half of this year. That's dramatic over the summer, 43% drop. So you have, and a lot of that, yes, is because the U.S. has drawn back from direct involvement in supplying weapons. It's doing indirectly through Europe. So what Donald Trump has said, it's a threat right now because he's clearly exasperated with Vladimir Putin, because unlike Benjamin Netanyahu, Vladimir Putin is not cowed to Donald Trump's pressure campaigns, as you might say, bullying, cajoling tactics. He continues on with the war of aggression. So Donald Trump is threatening these U.S.-made Tomahawk missiles, and the reasons it would be a big deal, a really big deal, if he supplied them to Ukraine is that under the previous administration, Joe Biden, the types of missiles that he supplied could strike within Russia, but not nearly as deep. These Tomahawk missiles could strike 5 times deeper into Russia, into Russian territories, at presumably military strategic targets, if the Ukrainians want to use them for such. I will just say this. It's just a threat for now. There's no indication Donald Trump is actually going to follow through, or whether it's just a bluff to try to get Vladimir Putin to at least talk and to consider pulling back on this war effort, which he has shown no sign of doing whatsoever. For now, though, yeah, Tomahawks would be a big deal. The Ukrainians, that said, have absolutely nothing right now on the ground. They need special launchers to fire them. It's called Typhoon launchers. Ukraine doesn't have that. So it's not just a matter of supplying and selling Tomahawk missiles. It's also a matter of making sure Ukraine has the launchers needed to fire them.